his second season as the head basketball coach at Tulane University. He's a Davenport, Iowa native, and he was the 2008-2009 Southern Conference Coach of the Year and earned NABC District 22 Coach of the Year honors as well, after leading the Citadel to a 20-win season and 15 conference wins. And he's already started the program at Tulane in good shape. Last year and this year they won a game last night over Loyola, 70-68. Tulane will host Alabama A&M this coming Friday night at 8 p.m. at Fogelman Arena. Please give a warm word of club welcome to Tulane head basketball coach Ed Conroy. Ed?
Thank you, and I will start by saying thank you for having me here. This is the first time I've been able to speak to your club, and been here a little over a year with my family. I have a wife and 3 kids, a sophomore over at boy over at Jesuit plays basketball, and then 2 children, a boy and a girl over at Holy Name. And I thank you because as a coach's family, you move all over. Well, this is our 9th stop, and my son is a sophomore. I think by the time he was in 6th grade, we had moved 7 times. So it's a tough life, and this has been just a great transition. They are loving New Orleans, and so I thank all of you for your part in making this place the fabulous place it is to live. Last night I thought I was going to maybe get away with this. We had an exhibition game against Loyola, and it's typical this time of year that it's really your first really quality film that you can watch of the season, and I'm up here wearing the same clothes I wore last night. I thought I might get away, and then I saw Linda over there, and she was at the game, so I knew I was busted. So I'll just come clean with everybody right from the start. Last night we were fortunate to come, on the winning end by 2 points, but we did avoid joining the ranks of West Virginia, Butler, Arizona, UTEP. It's an endless list, probably about 15 or 20 schools right now that lost their exhibition games to non-Division I schools. And I think, a couple things are worth noting. I think that's what makes our sport of college basketball so great. And you see it on display every year in March Madness at the NCAA tournament. And as I told we have 3 new foreign players on our team. And as I told them, Malta Ziegenhagen from Germany, I said, Malta, this isn't like Germany now. There's 345 Division I teams and 1,000 other ones playing Division II, NAI, Division III, and there's a lot of guys over here that can play. And if you don't respect the game, you don't, and last night I thought, we didn't shoot free throws particularly well. In fact, in Linda's words again, I think awful. 15 for 30 from the free throw line. You do that, you don't take care of business on the backboard, and then you make a couple freshman plays as we did, with a lead going into the half and a lead going into the end of the game, where we made some not very smart plays. You can pay a price pretty quick. And so a great lesson last night as we head into our regular season, which opens up on Friday against Alabama A&M. And I know our team, I love our guys, and I know that they will be all ears and work very hard when we get on the practice floor tomorrow. One thing I will tell you, I take a lot of the credit for last night's performance, and I mean that sincerely. I can be pretty hard-headed at this time of year, especially I think in building a team and with a lot of new guys. But I put our guys in some tough spots last night. Had some guys out there in some lineups that they had not played together much in practice. We have 11 new guys, so that can happen some. But there was a couple times where I thought it was necessary to send a message, and certain guys didn't see the floor where they wanted to. But also I wanted to see some of these guys with the lights on, and I also didn't want to take them off the hook if they made one play that wasn't particularly good. Want them to stay out there and see if they could fight through it and learn some things about our team. So Coach put them in some tough spots last night, and also I would credit Loyola. Coach Gio does a fantastic job, and I love that game every year on our schedule because I know those guys being right across the street are going to come in well coached, well schooled, and play really hard. So fantastic game for us last night, and we'll learn a lot from it. It's exactly what we needed. As we said, we open up the season on Friday, and I get to go into my 2nd year. Overall, really pleased. I think we've made a lot of progress in our program, and as I said, this is my 9th stop, and I'm a guy that's seen some tough challenges. My first stop in coaching was at NC State. I was the youngest assistant in the ACC at the time, and we were on probation. We had everything. We had allegations of point shaving. We had academic fraud. We had probation. I was right after the Coach Valvano years, and was there with Coach Les Robinson as we tried to build that program back. And then my first head coaching job, I took over a Division II team that was 2-26 the year before. And then when I got the job at the Citadel, they were 4-24 the year before that. So when Scott Cowan and Rick Dixon called me and told us that we were 8-22, I said, "I am making progress. I'm your guy, right? We're doubling our victories." So, and we did have some work to do. The momentum a year later, the Hertz Center, a brand new practice facility on campus, sorely needed for our basketball program, but brand new offices, weight room, film room, training room, 2 courts right there. Our guys now have a place, $15 million facility, state-of-the-art, as good as there is in the country. And we move in, actually we're moving in today. The grand opening is November 17th. Be a big help in recruiting, but also you'll be glad to hear there's 13 baskets that our guys can shoot free throws at every day, so as opposed to the 2 in Fogelman. So we'll get better at those free throws I mentioned earlier. Just a great functional building for us. Recruiting, I've got 11 new guys from all over, and we were really void of any size, but I've been able to bring in a 7-footer who hasn't taken the court for us yet. He gets cleared probably next week, and I think he'll be a big boost to our lineup. But also a couple other 6'10" young man from that was born in South Africa, and then another young man who's 6'8", about 275. Had a transfer from NC State, Josh Davis, sitting out, another 6'7", 6'8" athletes. So we're getting bigger, and I think as the year goes on, this team will gel and come together and do some good things. We've got I think we got a good schedule. We've got several home games at first, which this team needed. And if you watched last night, you would agree with that. But we'll be at home and hopefully be able to learn our lessons and come together. Very unsettled right now with our lineup and our roles, and that's what makes us a fragile team right now. And we've got to find that lineup that we can count on consistently. But I'm encouraged by the pieces we have to be able to put that together. December 3rd, have a home game against in Fogelman against Georgia Tech. Glad that we were able to entice an ACC team to come here and play us in a home-and-home scheduling, and we'll continue to try to build and do some more things like that. Overall, just very encouraged about the momentum we have in our program and where I think we can go. There's no doubt in my mind that, and I would not have come to Tulane if I didn't think that we can build a consistent winner in basketball, and I think it's overdue. And with the city of New Orleans, the commitment on campus right now, no question we can do that. And what I ask our guys, I'll end it with this before we get some questions. If we're going to be consistent, if we're going to build that consistent winner, I think the only way you can do that anywhere you're at is if you really represent and be who you are. And as I told our team, and I thought they bought into it last year, and this team will this year, first thing we have to do, if we're going to be at Tulane, if we're going to be a Tulane basketball program, we should be a smart team. And to me, that means playing to your strengths. Well, last year's team didn't have much size, but we could shoot the ball a little bit. And we got better as the year went on in shooting it. We ended up making 50 more three-point shots than any team in Tulane history. And so I thought they bought into that fact of being a smart team. You know, Tulane University leads the way around the country as far as community service and being a part of the community and serving other people. And so I think we ought to be a team if you're going to be at Tulane. Last year's team had the best assist-to-turnover ratio of sharing the basketball in 20 years of Tulane basketball. So even though we might not have had success with that, I thought they were really coming together, you know, that identity part, which is crucial. And lastly, and probably no question, the most important part, if you're going to represent New Orleans and Tulane, you know, everybody's been through some tough times at different times. You better be pretty tough, all right? You better have you know, some resolve about you. You know, whether, you know, and last year maybe my proudest moment of our team, we went on the road up to VCU, a team at that time in December when people didn't know they were going to be a Final Four team. We knew they were really talented, and we knew they were very good. But we went on the road that night, and here is this team. We also didn't know we were going to be the all-time leading three-point shooting team in Tulane history. But we went on the road that night, Richmond, Virginia. We had the worst shooting night in the history of Tulane basketball. We did not make a single three-point shot the entire night. We were 0 for 14 from 3. How does your team bounce back? Do they really represent the city of New Orleans? Do they represent the university? Do they have that resolve? Are they tough? Are they headed that way? Are they trying to be those guys? Well, the very next night we come back home to Fogelman, not the next night, the next game, we come back home to Fogelman, we set the all-time record for the most threes made in a game. We made 18 that night, and then I knew, you know what, we've got a ways to go, but we'll get there, because they're buying in and they're understanding what we're going to be about going forward, and that is going to be a smart team, a team that plays as a team and unselfishly, and we're going to be tough. They better be tough on Tuesday when I get them in that film room too, and they better have a little resolve, because we'll get better when we go on that practice floor. I thank you for having me, and I look forward to being here for a long time, and hopefully you'll come support us.
Questions? Raise your hand.
Okay, I think I heard the question, like, what information do we get as far as recruiting the foreign players? Okay. First, let me say this before I answer that. My first thing in recruiting always will be, we are going to be strong close to home, and we will always look here first. And we need to keep making inroads there. We're working very hard at it. And the reason I say that is because basketball is a small world, and the world itself is getting smaller. And whether I call the 7-foot young man in the Czech Republic, whether I call the young man in Berlin, Germany, Malton Ziegenhagen, or whether I call the young man from South Africa, sooner or later they're going to pick up a phone and they're going to try to trace it back and find somebody that knows something about me and our program. And if the coaches here don't know and the fans here don't know what we're doing and what we're all about, you're not going to be successful at getting those guys. So you better be strong close to home, you know, first and foremost. And that's really how it happened. I could tell you individual stories about all those guys, but between AAU tournaments, the young man from the Czech Republic actually came over to the States and played in a couple tournaments throughout his career. The young man from Germany played against several U.S. teams, and I don't know if you remember a guy named Henrik Rodel. He played at North Carolina. He's actually assistant coach with the German national team now, and there's just ties back to the States in all different ways. And between the internet and the instant access to any video over there, and how connected the whole world is now, it takes some effort and some time and some assistant coaches getting up in the middle of the night to make a phone call. But other than that, there's a lot of information about those guys available.
Raise your hand.
Question was, did Tulane sign Matt Derenbecker? No, Matt was a young man from Country Day that was at LSU and decided to transfer. He is attending Dayton University now, up in Dayton, Ohio.
What else? Over here.
Besides the Georgia Tech game, what other special events will we have? I would tell you, our conference schedule, our home conference schedule is better this year for one. We play an unbalanced schedule in our league now. So last year we did not have Memphis or Southern Miss or those teams at home. We do have those here this year, along with Georgia Tech. We're going to continue to try to bolster that non-conference schedule. I would encourage you to do this. I really believe if you come and watch this team play, we have so many new faces, and there's going to be different guys emerge throughout November, December, January, and I have high hopes for a lot of them. Some of them did not play much last night that I think you'll see a lot more minutes out of even in the next game. And just coming and supporting those guys and watching them grow and develop, I think you'll really enjoy this team, and I encourage you to come see them. And then hopefully as we get into that conference schedule, we gel, and every single night out will be an exciting night in Fogelman.
What else?
Any other questions? And I'll brag about one young man when in response to that question, and I think our guys do. I think they have a fantastic attitude, and the effort. There was no question about their effort last night. I think many of their mistakes from trying too hard. We have a young man at point guard named Ricky Tarrant from Birmingham, Alabama, a freshman. Did some great things last night. I think he had 20 points and did some nice things, but he also, as far as managing that game at the end of the half and the end of the game, that's just the evolution process of a point guard in college and knowing what it takes to I think, as you just said, put their foot on their neck. Huh? But Ricky will get that. He'll be a fun player for you all to watch and follow, and I think he'll do some really good things. Anybody else? Oh, one more. You know, I was at Tennessee for 4 years. Buzz Peterson was the head coach there, and the very first day, Coach Philip Fulmer invited Coach Peterson and myself over to his office and sat us down, and really from that day forward for 4 years, we felt like we were a part of the program. Most football games I stood on the sidelines with Buzz down in the end zone, and we went in the coach's locker before the game, and you know, never. Chief is all business, and so never really got to know him that well personally, but knew the staff extremely well, and you know, always just admired. I thought he did one heck of a job, and I would stand on that field many times, and even if the other team might have gotten a touchdown on Tennessee by half, however they did that, it was usually shut down in the second half. He's one of the best, and he's proven that over a long period of time. And you talk about a consistent winner. John Chavis is that. Thank you, and enjoyed having you, and hopefully we'll see you in Fogelman. Thank you.